As Director of Communications for the Washington County School District, Stephen Dunham has been busy with phone calls, answering questions about the school district's new plan to levy taxes.
It's kind of like when you pay off your car and you continue to drive your car that's paid off, whatever your payment was, say $400 a month, and then you continue to put that $400 a month into savings instead. That's how we'll be able to fund all new construction in the district.
The overall plan?
Debt-free in 2023. We can reach this goal without asking for any new bonds or raising taxes. Sound too good to be true? Here's how it works.
We'll continue to pay off the debt that the district owes, but what we'll do, instead of paying that into the debt holders, the banks, we'll put that into savings that we can invest and begin accruing interest instead of paying interest on it.
Washington County School District has figured out a way to combine two of its four levies into one. The move will provide a steady tax rate at the 2022 level into the future.
This is why the state requires us, we show this as a property tax increase. But if taxpayers will look at their 2022 taxes compared to the proposed budget approved taxes in 2023, those numbers should be very similar. We're anticipating that most taxpayers will see a slight decrease of between $3 to $5.
However, if the local school fund is not changed, the 2023 certified tax rate shows taxes to be collected would be significantly lower due to the money currently obligated on the bond debt owed by the school district.
If you compare the local school district and their rates and revenues for 2022 on their general obligation bond payments, they collected $61 million. That was part of their certified rate revenue. They've paid debt down. This year, they owe $27.6 million. If that stayed the way it was, and they collected what they were legally obligated to collect to service their debt this year, everyone in Washington County, for the most part, would see a decrease in their property tax. And for most people, it's hundreds of dollars.
And if you'll allow us to do that for 10 years, we'll continue to pay off all of the debt here in Washington County School District, and any future construction we'll pay in cash, so we don't have to pay interest on those loans, those construction loans. And what this does for the taxpayers is it gives them a set budget that they can plan for in the future going forward. They don't have those peaks and valleys as we have to take out loans for new construction for our school buildings.
According to the Washington County Clerk Auditor, the new proposal is about a 44.7% change in taxes.
If you take what they are legally allowed to collect this year, which would be reflected with that lower revenue of the $27.6 million, and you compare it to what they're proposing to collect, that's the difference in the 44.7.
Washington County is one of the fastest growing areas in the nation. In order to accommodate that new growth for students, Dunham says construction of new schools is needed.
Well, the state gives us enough money to operate our schools, but they don't give us quite enough to build new schools, and that's a struggle for a growing school district like Washington County. For example, this year we're growing by about 600 to 700 children, and so we need to have seats for those kids, which is why we're building schools. But over the next 12 years, because of our growth patterns, we anticipate we would have to ask taxpayers for a bond of upwards of $700 million, and we don't want to do that.
Dunham says the Washington County School District Tax Initiative is expected to pay off debt quickly, while at the same time earn money to build new schools.
Last year we paid $10.6 million in interest alone, and we're going to be eliminating that very quickly. And so we'll be saving taxpayers more than $10 million in interest payments, and we'll begin earning interest at a level of approximately 4 to 4.5% on our funds.
A Truth in Taxation hearing will be held on August 7th to explain more to the public on this proposed tax change.
But they can come to Dixie High School on August 7th at 6 p.m. and we'll be open to hear comments after a short presentation about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how it really will impact taxpayers.
The tax plan then goes to a vote by the Washington School District Board of Education on August 8th.
So the board will vote the following day at their board meeting. They wanted to reserve one day to hear public comments completely from the taxpayers, and then they will consider those, and then they'll discuss that in their next meeting and take a vote on the 8th.
I'm not an expert, but I think if it's a general obligation bond, it has to be voted on by the public, whereas if they're not bonding, I think it's just a board decision at that point.
If the new changes are passed by the board, the new tax would be levied on the next tax bill due in November, and the 2022 rate would continue at that level each year into the future. From the Washington County School District, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.
Free in 2023.